My name is Oshifes Larry. I'm a mechanic. Welcome to Exxon F1, also known as from Lawon, Colum, Africa.
See, critically, we really need to discuss some things 100% because our people say when things are going the other way, we need to find a solution. So we need to gather the elders. So elders, gather here. Let us talk. We need to see how we can improve this Formula One thing. For those that have the language barrier, that don't understand the English, especially our fans in Morocco, Malaysia, the Arabic-speaking countries, and other countries all around the world, you can go to your subtitle on your YouTube, as it is in the video description, and choose the language, and it will translate into that same language you want to hear. Thank you for always loving and following our analysis. We love you. So these are the things we'll be analyzing today. The Belgian race, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, what the teams need to do next. The next race in Zandvoort, Netherlands. The remainder of the season, the first half of the season. We won't give you the report card today, but that will be in another video, and some other things we'll do in another video. But today, that's what we'll be doing. The Belgian race. See, it is something I don't want to say, but like I said, for those of you that followed what I predicted on my WhatsApp status, you're on your own. No. It's just a prediction. So listen, I am not the one running the race, and I won't pay Max Verstappen not to win because he wants to win the third championship. In short, Red Bull wants him to win the third championship at the expense of the other driver. So please, it is at your own risk, but based on what we see and the upgrades the teams have brought and what has happened during the weekend, that is why we give you something that we believe might work, in the sense that, look at it, some teams brought upgrade and there's no balance. None of these teams were able to have a balance except with experience, and the best team with the best experience of winning recently that has won all the races except the ones that have not been run in this year is only Red Bull. So they have a supercar and they have good drivers, in which I believe one has been in that. I keep saying that it is my opinion, so I'm liable to my opinion because we can see what is happening really, and I think it should be racing, it should be pure racing, and something should really be looked at. So aside from that, they are a flying team. They've been flying, they've had the wings. Red Bull gives you wings. Certainly it will be difficult for anyone to beat them, and I said it in the last podcast that anyone that will win today should be Max Verstappen. Even if he's given 35 place grid penalty, he will still win because that car is something else, except other teams are able to do something. I said that I believe Mercedes and Ferrari would fight for podium with what they have, and they really did. They fought for podium, and Mercedes was so close. I think their car today showed that they had the same pace. The degradation on the Ferrari has reduced. The Mercedes still has little degradation, which I believe they will look at. They have 4-week reset. Pending that time, the McLaren struggled today because they were on the high downforce wings because of the rain. A lot of teams could not set up their car very well, and I know that will be part of the issues Mercedes have because they brought new upgrades. They were able to set up very well, but what really worked for them was their high downforce wing that they brought to the race. It really showed tremendous pace. The Aston Martin, their issues since Canada continues. They've had bad woes. We believe they will be able to make up for that. So now what happened on the first lap of the race? Piastri, second place winner in the sprint race yesterday, because we know how difficult that track could be and how enjoyable it could be, because they were trying to evade the shenanigans Sergio Perez was about cursing on the first lap towards the first inward turning that was trying to block out Lewis Hamilton, and that is a good move for Sergio Perez. He knew that if Lewis Hamilton is not blocked, he will be able to go out and overtake Charles Leclerc and take the lead of the race. And in battling with Lewis Hamilton for P1 during the race will be difficult, and Lewis Hamilton will waste time. So the first thing Sergio Perez did was to block Lewis Hamilton. Immediately the race started, he ran into Lewis Hamilton to block him off. Lewis Hamilton trying to take cover and move behind him out using his slipstream. Carlos Sainz and Oscar Piastri moved towards the right hand side and hit themselves, and that took Oscar Piastri out of the race. And later Carlos Sainz had to retire his car because of the damage that had caused to his car. Wait, the problem with Ferrari, before I go back to the races, why would you waste that engine? As in, how do they think? How do Ferrari think? Why would you waste your power, the energy? Because you are going to suffer the engine. The engine of that car will be put under pressure because the aero balance is not there. The car is losing a lot of downforce and is compensating with the engine of the car. And you allow the car to still keep in the race. Ferrari, how do you guys think? For crying out loud, how? Before the departure of Matthias Binotto last year. They've been having good race, better race. At least they came second in the championship last year. So it is already showing that they have decent pace, decent opportunities this year. Great, you sacked Matthias Binotto. Now you've brought in Fred Vasseur. I think they need to give him more time though. But these mistakes are getting too much. Immediately, you've seen that 2-3 laps, Carlos Sainz has dropped behind the whole racing grid. Just pit him. Save that engine a lot of stress. Now, you still have like 10 races. What happens to those 10 races when you suffer this engine? This might be the only engine that would save you from taking grid penalty. This might be the only engine. Now, you've overstressed it. You've overworked that engine. How do you place yourself in the race? Ferrari needs to look inward. They are looking outward. They are looking at things that are happening to them, but they are not looking inward. They are not looking at themselves, looking at decisions they are taking that is affecting their races, that has affected their season in the past. That is why they've not won Grand Prix. I don't know for Ferrari. I don't really know. They need to spank themselves, as in they should give themselves cane, give themselves 6-6, because it's just something else. So, Piastri crashed into Carlos Sainz, and that was how two of them were out of the race. And for Max Verstappen, it was a better thing for him. He was able to just jump those two from 6th position into 4th position straight, and he was just looking at his arch rival, the almighty Lewis Hamilton, in his front, and he was so happy that anyway which way I will overtake you, which he did. We knew he was going to do that, and overtaking Lewis is so easy for him, overtaking Ferrari and his teammates. That is inevitable, because I said it while the race was on that. If he can overtake Lewis, they will delay Sergio Perez, in which they did in the pit, and it was so easy. This shows the difference between the paces of the car. It shows that this car, apart from the confidence a driver has in himself, aside from how good he has been driving all season, this shows the kind of pace that is in the car of Max Verstappen and in the car of Sergio Perez, because that car blew past Perez and finished the race, even with some yellow flags and some other things, 22 seconds, wow, ahead of his teammate. That means between lap 15 to 20 that was able to overtake his teammate. He was taking 0.9 seconds out of the pace of his teammate. That is seriously outrageous. I've made a video about the dominance and the dominant of both the Mercedes and the Red Bull, and the video will come out this week or next week. You would be able to watch it. But the major thing is, even when the Mercedes were called so dominant team, the pace between any two Mercedes is not as great as that. Even when they are in the same machinery and they are fighting for the same championship, between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, or between Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, as in the pace in finishing, this is just outrageous. But well, I'll leave that to people that want to argue with their pencil, with their biro, or with their keypad. I'm sorry. So that race was already done at that point. But to those that really made the race beautiful, Fernando Alonso fought for points. George Russell coming from 8th to finish 6th. Lando Norris gave that beautiful fight. His elbows were out. Unfortunately, Lando Norris struggled all through the race with tire, with his setup, because they were using a high downforce setup. Esteban Ocon, wow, what a great race for Alpine yesterday and today, with their engine imbalance with other teams. They really did well. Lance Stroll of the Aston Martin, yes, he gave a fight. Himself and his teammate Fernando Alonso were on different strategy. So also Lewis Hamilton and George Russell were on different strategy. Lewis Hamilton was on the low downforce wing, while George Russell was on the high downforce wing. Lewis Hamilton started with the soft tire, George Russell started with the medium tire. So also on Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll, they were on different strategy with their tires, and they really did well, coming up with 10 points for Fernando Alonso and 2 points for Lance Stroll coming ninth. Yuki Tsunoda, Alpha Tauri, hallelujah! Points for Alpha Tauri after a long time. I think they would have forgotten they've had points this season. We will ask Franz Tost that to know if you can remember the last time they points. I think they had their last point in the Arabs. Yeah. For Alfa Romeo, I think they deserve some applause. Even if their fight now is not for points, at least they came 12-13 in this race. Alex Albon, wow. For the Williams, you have been given a good drive, and for their straight line speed, they really gave it all today. He defended position, he struggled, he gave it a fight, he did some beautiful overtakes today. And for Kevin Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo, what a recovery. Nico Hulkenberg, Logan Sargent, what a great race today. Carlos Sainz Jr., Oscar Piastri, racing incident. But I think FIA should look into the way Sergio Perez drove from the starting line to the first turning. I think they should look into it. That is dangerous, and I think that should not be condoned in F1. But that was a great race, except for the F1 car that was running in front. For the F1 and a half cars that were behind him, it was a great race for them. Beautiful race, and all the drivers gave their all, which was more appreciable. Yeah. Now, Max Verstappen has been beautifully driving that rocket ship he's been driving this season, and he has been driving well. And we all know that Red Bull has given him the wings, and he wants to win all the races this season, break all the breakables, and still complain that they are not dominant. To Max Verstappen, all the applause to him. He's driven well this season, and I believe he's been made strong through the challenges he has faced in Red Bull, and also in 2021 when he was really broken, and we saw his attitude and the same attitude he displayed today during the race when GP Gianpiero Lambassi, his race director or his race engineer, was speaking with him at some point. I think he's a two-time world champion going for the third, so the ego will ever be there. Believe there are more to come from him. When other cars become more competitive, we would see how it would fare with someone like Lando Norris, with George Russell, even with Alex Albon and Lance Stroll. Fernando Alonso can be so pitiful sometimes with some drivers, but Lance Stroll does not care. He drives his ass out. He makes sure when he needs to block, even his teammate, that guy does not give a he does what he has to do. Now winning, if I have to win, I'm going to win. And to Sergio Perez, it has been a difficult season for you. Aside from the in-house criticism from Red Bull, he has faced a lot of challenges this year, and I know he's battling his own demons, battling his own team, battling his own teammate and survival, and that will be a great mental challenge for him, in which I think next year he needs to take a break. Even if he's not, which we know he will be taken out of that seat, he might be demoted, but I think he needs to take a break and look at himself and where he needs to get to, and really take some time out of F1 if he really needs to do that, because it has been a tough season for Sergio Perez. This is half time. I can tell you, I feel what he's going through, because when you are in the midst of old men that don't really care about you, that what they do is they bring out war. Every time is all war, war. That's what they shout. I think Sergio Perez needs to take it easy on himself, and it will work out for him. Also, if Red Bull team can start using their head now, I think Verstappen has won, even if Sergio Perez is in competition with him for the second part of the season. So they should just go back to how Sergio Perez's car has been. They should leave it the way it has been, so that we can enjoy racing now. At least if you have two F1 cars and 18 other F1 and F or F2 cars racing two F1 cars, the two F1 cars can give us a better racing, while the F1 and F2 cars can give us another race behind them. At least we will enjoy it. So what team must do? I think McLaren has been beautiful for about 3-4 races now. Mercedes, they've kept on fighting for points, giving every ounce of fight to remain in this fight, while the Aston Martin, they've really decompressed themselves. They've gone down the battle. And for the Ferrari, for Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, don't let me add Ferrari to your name. Ferrari is a beautiful brand, but these mistakes are one too many. Every race, there is something. They have two types of races today. A beautiful race for Charles Leclerc and a knock in a race for Carlos Sainz. If they had pitted Carlos Sainz immediately after like 3 or 4 laps, I'll be so happy. It why waste the power of that engine? Christ. For McLaren, I think there's still more to do to catch up with the Red Bull. For Mercedes, there's much more to do. The pace of the upgrade that was brought, it is difficult to see the pace, because it was only FP1 that was observed, and the FP1 was mad with rain, so there was no other practice for them to really see or understand the pace of the car, how it will react with their tires, and how they can manage a lot of things, or what they can do to take out excess heat from the tire and manage the car. They can hardly do that today, but I think they need to look at that and bring more upgrades. McLaren too needs to bring more upgrades. Aston Martin now said they've understood what is happening to their car, so they are bringing upgrades for the Zandvoort race. The last upgrade they brought in Canada really brought the car behind, as in it took the car from the second best car to the 5th best car. Yeah, they are now right behind Ferrari. The second best car should be between McLaren and Mercedes. They are still tussling it out, in which Mercedes today, because of their low drag rear wing, really showed they were in the fight, but the setup of the car was not there. The understanding of the car was not there. Okay, all the grade 2 teams never had opportunity and the experience to understand how to put their car in a winning position. But it was tough for all of them. So all those teams that I've said, they are the midfield teams. They have 4 weeks to look at what they are doing right, what they are doing wrong, and come back stronger. They should forget about it. No championship this season. The champions are there already. Lewis Hamilton or Fernando Alonso can still claim the second position ahead of Sergio Perez, because Sergio Perez is battling a lot. They can still claim the second position in the championship from him, but that Max Verstappen championship, Otilo, that Constructors Championship for Red Bull, they have the wings already. It's not that they are borrowing wings, Otilo. So that is that. But these teams need to look at what they need to do to strengthen themselves and they move forward. But will we see a resurgent Alpine after the changes they've made? I believe they should have given these guys some time to end this season and bring in new managers. But when new people invest and they are strong people, they have the axes, the cutlass, you ask anybody you want to ask, you don't care. So to Otmar and Pamer, the team will come stronger, and those two guys, don't be surprised by August ending or by January there will be new teams, because they are good. These guys are good people, good managers, and they've worked well. They've done themselves good job in F1, so they might be picked up by some other teams to manage their team and to take them to the next level, which we would see as soon as possible. Now, for the first half of the season, this is not a report card, but massive job done by Red Bull, improving from where they were last year to become a very dominant car. And for the rest of the team, it's still a struggle. For Ferrari, they had a very strong season. They understood their car, but they keep misunderstanding themselves, and that has been their woe for a long time. And this season, they've not really put themselves in the shoes they need to be, because coming second last year shows out, this season they can fight for something, but they fought for nothing. They have nothing to show for what they think and what they have not fought for. So it is a terrible season for them. To Mercedes, a wonky, winky, xylophone season for them. Yeah, that's how their season has been, and that trend will continue to the end of the season. But they've really gotten themselves back into the race, fighting for better points than last year this season. After changing their concept in Monaco, they've worked themselves up to get themselves ahead of Aston Martin and Ferrari on pure pace, and that car has been very good on race pace. So Aston Martin, revive! Aston Martin, revive! Revive. You guys need to revive yourself. Get back into the point. For Alfa Romeo, a dominant start for the season, but they've been very behind for the past few races. I think they need to do better. They need to get themselves back. They have a lot to learn. They have a lot to do. As team, wow. Good one lap pace, but race pace, tire management, no. Those are the major things they need to work on. Yes, they are a behind team, but they need to work on those to get and claim points once in a while. Alpha Tauri, yes, resurgent, new upgrades, upgraded driver, showed signs in the last 2 races. Need to work better, and Daniel Ricciardo needs to get back to training because he's been off Formula 1 for a long time. He needs to put himself back in shape to be so competitive, and let's see what they bring out as soon as possible. Williams, yes, the Williams team have come up with, to me, naturally the second best package, but because of where they are, they've not been able to show if they are dominant or not and what they can do with their car. I think that team has really outperformed themselves, and they can do more. They need to work on their low speed corners and high speed corners, but on the straight line, even the Red Bull knows they don't have a straight line speed. The straight line speed of the Williams is outrageous, out of this world, and for that, it's a good, beautiful half of the season, though so many races were dull because F1 team and F1 and half were racing together. Very tough, and we know this team will come back second half of the season, give a fight. At least let's see the fighting spirit. Mercedes are giving a fight. McLaren are proving that they want to give a fight. Ferrari is just not proving that they have anything to give. So they need to prove for us. Aston Martin needs to bring some upgrade and get themselves back into the competition championship, because Lewis Hamilton next race will be points ahead of Fernando Alonso. He's just a point behind him now, and that is the beauty of Formula 1. Anything can happen any minute, and up until the middle of the week, we drop some videos, we give you some gist, what is happening. There will be a lot of gist. Driver shake-ups might come possibly. Then the cost cap issue, we keep getting informations about it, and other things that are happening secretly in some teams, we start getting information. Some new team principals that are taking over, new team CEOs that are taking over, they start taking over their jobs, and we start getting some secrets, what is going on. And up until then, we love you. Bye. Chi.
We have a new friend in the house. We are in Nigeria here, West Africa. He provides internet for us. They provide the best internet around the mainland, and I know they are still moving to the highland and they are moving all around Nigeria. But for you to get internet on the mainland, contact Firebrad Telecom Limited. They get you sorted out ASAP. The best cable internet on the mainland, fiber, I think they get sorted out. We talk much about them in the course of some of our videos, but contact them. They get sorted out. We love you. If you're a builder, if you're an art collector, if you have a showroom, Rated is the best place to get the artworks you need for your new buildings, for your art collections, for your showroom, for your exhibition. Rated Art have one of the best murals, mosaic works, and different art patterns in Nigeria presently. And it's somebody that you can communicate with, talks to you, you tell him what you want, and he will bring the reality out for you. To contact Rated Art, his number is right up here, and you can also go on social media links that are pasted right up here to check out some of his works. Thank you. Teams Gadget is for those of you that cannot easily go to the market to get your phones, your laptops, your accessories. Just place a call through. His phone number is there. It gets you the best. It's your shop plug to get you the best phones, accessories, laptops, games, and other accessories for your computer gaming experience. Contact Teams Gadget and you get them for you.